Welcome to this edition of Arlington Public News. I'm Paul Werlin.
And I'm Katie Chang. Thanks for joining us in this edition of APN. We'll bring you stories to watch in 2018. We'll update you on where several major development proposals stand and where you could see construction begin.
And it's going to be a big year at the ballot box. We'll run down all the races coming up across the state and here in Arlington. That and more up next. Stay with us. It's still January, and 2018 is already proving to be a busy year here in Arlington. The Board of Selectmen has been taking another look at medical marijuana, and the Redevelopment Board has gone into double sessions to try and build consensus around the recodification of zoning bylaws.
The town's first medical marijuana facility will not be moving to a storefront on Massachusetts Avenue. The Massachusetts Patient Foundation has pulled out of a deal to try to move into 789 Mass Ave. That's where Bagels by Us is located. This coming after the Board of Selectmen decided not to act on the dispensary's request of non-opposition to that location. The dispensary would have needed the board's initial approval for the spot in order to pursue the site. Attorney Valero Romano tells Arlington Public News that the landlord did not extend his client's option to buy, and therefore the deal is dead. They will, however, continue seeking final approval on construction applications for their site on Water Street inside a medical building. During the January 8th Selectmen meeting, the board concluded they wanted input from other town officials, such as the police department, before giving approval to the Mass Ave storefront location.
I don't like this location. I have been here, along with Mr. Greeley, allowing liquor into a blue town that happened gradually, and I think the Water Street location's better. I understand from a business point of view that it isn't for you all, and I hear what you're saying, and I have trouble with this storefront, and I'm just wary. I'm very surprised the neighborhood isn't here.
This is not a Denver pot shop that's going to scare off people from going into your historic location. This is absolutely about medical cannabis only. Even if we were to try to convert or switch or include adult use, we'd have to execute a host community agreement, and that's actually straight up in the law that the governor signed. We'd have to then go back to the ARB for a change of use. We'd have to go back to the Board of Health because our use would have been amended. So it's not like we have some automatic conversion by doing this.
So I am in general definitely think that I'm comfortable in general with Arlington leaning forward on marijuana, both recreational and medical. But that said, there's no world where I would be supporting making a motion tonight without additional input from our town professionals. And I guess in some ways I'm kind of hoping that the police chief comes back and says, I really prefer this location, because I suspect some other of my colleagues would be swayed by, his or other, feedback.
Attorney Valero Romano also tells APN that they hope to open their Water Street dispensary sometime this summer.
Recodification of Arlington's zoning bylaws is part of the special town meeting warrant in February, but it's still not clear if the document will be ready by then. The Department of Economic Development and the Zoning Board has spent the last 6 months working to simplify, clarify, and update the zoning bylaws document, and the public continues to have a lot of input. A recent Arlington Redevelopment Board public hearing had to be continued to the next night and again to January 22nd due to the number of residents sharing their comments and concerns. The ARB had planned to vote on recommending the updates to special town meeting at the end of the first night, but that vote is delayed to allow for additional review and comment.
2 years after the master plan was approved, you finally have something that is worth presenting and being voted on. There is no way, in my opinion, that 500-page revised document will not cause people to be concerned and will not cause people to come out. You can change everything you want for every single person who's spoken about it, and you'll still get more comments.
I think there will always be debate, I think, over the interpretation of various provisions. I think odds are that not everyone will ever come to full agreement on what all of the provisions actually mean. I think if the recodification working group and the board and the staff can all get to a point where we are confident that that we understand everything in the current draft, and that the issues that we either found internally or have been made aware of by the public have been resolved to the extent that we feel is reasonable, that we could move forward. And that would still give town meeting members 3 weeks in which to review the document.
The next meeting will take place on Monday, January 22nd at 7:30 in the main room of the Central School on Maple Street. A warrant article for the April town meeting is being prepared in case the document doesn't make it out of the ARB before a special town meeting. You can read the updated document at arlingtonma.gov.
One of the big stories of 2018 is the progress of the Arlington High School building project through the Massachusetts Building Association's timeline. More than 100 residents attended the first interactive community forum on the long-term project last week. Attendees got an update on the progress of the project, and then it was time for residents to offer their input. News Director Heather Averson has this report.
Jim Burrows of Skanka USA, the project manager, outlined the overall project and updated residents on the current phase of the project.
And we are now going into the feasibility phase. So as you can see, we are just about halfway through this process, from starting from the statement of interest all the way through to the funding of the project, which is the vote, all the way through to the completion of the project. It's essentially gathering information about the building and deciding the best way to move forward with the project. Another key point is that establishing the design parameters, evaluating the alternatives, which is that piece of it, and also engaging the community, which is what we're here to do tonight.
Then it was time for attendees to break out into working groups and discuss 4 questions. What do you love about Arlington High School? What do you dislike about Arlington High School? What do you see as the biggest challenges with renovation, rebuilding the high school? What do you see as the major opportunities with renovating, rebuilding the high school? There were several common themes when the teams reported back: protecting students during renovation, maintaining the sense of community, preserving the position of Arlington High School in town, and taking advantage of the ways a new building can affect learning.
Okay, I think, and I'm sure we're not alone in this, the number one concern of our group was how the construction would proceed so that we would minimize disruption for the students.
We wanted to maintain community involvement, and we really are enjoying the community involvement and kind of bringing us together, but also making sure that the community has the facility, right? Like it's kind of a hub of community it's a facility for the whole community, and we want to make sure that that's maintained as we move forward.
We talked a lot about community also. We talked about it from the students' point of view. We wanted to make sure that they felt that this was their school.
And it's imperative to have a community that comes together around the vision for this high school as a project that everybody agrees is a town-wide need, everybody agrees is going to meet the needs of the town, has a not reasonable, but has a cost that, makes sense for what we're going to be getting, and that the plan doesn't create division.
We see the main part of the school with the columns and the tower and the lawn in front as a focal point for the community, and like that or something similar to be incorporated into the new building.
But one of the things that this table was talking about is that the location where it is a real asset, and it's really central in the town, and they were really concerned about, trying to maintain that location and centrality within Arlington.
So keeping it where it is in the center of the community. Did other people talk about that? Isn't it great? Oh, wow.
Oh. But one of the things that we also talked a lot about was that this is the opportunity, the 50-year opportunity to align an educational program with a building And the specific focus that sort of brought this into focus for us was that this is the opportunity to take STEM and squeeze the A in and make it STEAM to really build a 21st century art facility in that building. And there's probably other out-of-the-box programmatic ideas like that. This is the shot.
There's a strong sense at this table that a lot of learning in the future is going to be based on project work or collaborative work, and that there needs to be flexibility within the building to do that, and in conjunction with new technologies that will allow students to do that sort of learning both on campus and off of the campus.
One of the most creative and popular ideas came from the table of town manager Adam Chapdelaine.
So we had what I thought was a really interesting idea of trying to incorporate into the curriculum and educational plan for the school the project itself. So having students be able to learn project management skills, HVAC design, building design, construction, to use it as an opportunity to have some practical learning opportunities for the students.
That'd be great. Great idea. Great idea.
The feasibility phase can take up to 10 months. After that, preferred designs are submitted to the MSBA for review. That means there'll be no debt exclusion vote on funding the building until at least 2019. For Arlington Public News, I'm Heather Avison.
There are 3 more community forums coming up. On Wednesday, February 7th, from 7 to 9 p.m., the forum will focus on the educational vision of AHS. And then on Monday, March 5th, from 7 to 9 p.m., and Tuesday, April 3rd, from 6 to 7:30 p.m., the focus will be on the vision for a new or renovated building. All forums take place at Town Hall. For more information on the building project, visit ahsbuilding.org.
While we have to wait a few years to see the future of Arlington High School, there are 2 other school construction projects that will finish up and welcome students this year. Hardy Elementary School is getting an addition. Plans are complete and construction is expected to begin in March. Funding for the project will be taken up at the special town meeting on Monday, February 12th. $3.5 million have been included in the town's 2018 capital budget for the construction. Town meeting now needs to officially allocate the funds. Plans call for the 6th classroom addition to be open when school begins next fall. The Gibbs School reconfiguration is also on schedule to open in September of 2018. Interior framing, drywall, and window installation are underway on the inside. Roof and masonry work is going on the outside. The school will house Arlington's 6th graders, taking pressure off Ottoson Middle School.
And as Ottoson loses their 6th graders, the school will welcome a new principal. The superintendent's office has announced the selection of 4 finalists for the position. A previous search was unsuccessful. Eileen Woods has been acting as interim principal for the past 2 years. Parents and all interested residents are invited to hear from the 4 finalists and to ask questions on Wednesday, January 24th from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Ottoson Media Center.
We're keeping an eye on several proposed developments in and around Arlington. At the corner of Lowell Street and Park Ave Extension, the Housing Corporation of Arlington is moving forward with the plans for the Downing Square development. The plan calls for 32 affordable housing units in 2 buildings. Environmental contamination at the site is going to be a big factor and a significant expense as the project moves forward. In the fall, boreholes were dug throughout the site. HCA Executive Director Pam Hallett told APM that the initial cost estimate for remediation is around $500,000. The plan calls for removal of contaminated soil and capping. The project has been approved under a special permit and by the Conservation Commission. Plans will be resubmitted once final designs and drawings are completed, showing lighting, landscaping, and siding choices. HCA expects to have that ready by the end of the year. The earliest expected date for work to begin is still more than a year away, in the spring of 2019. HCA has been invited to apply for the state's winter 2018 funding round. Hallett says the timeline will become more clear when they find out if they will receive monies in this funding round. Last spring, a multi-family development consisting of 320 units was approved by the city of Cambridge at the site of the Lanes and Games and the Gateway Inn on Route 2. Concerns about flooding and traffic were brought up during the approval process from West Cambridge neighborhood groups and the town of Belmont. After a review of the project, the Arlington Redevelopment Board chose not to try and block the construction. Wrecking balls and heavy equipment have been on site over the past few weeks, and both buildings have been razed, clearing the way for construction to begin. And across the highway in East Arlington, The fate of the proposed Mugar-owned Oak Tree development of 200-plus units, including affordable housing units on 5 acres of land, remains in the hands of a state appeals board. Arlington's Zoning Board of Appeals denied Oak Tree's application, citing similar flooding concerns as the Lanes and Gaines development along Route 2. Under the state's Chapter 40B comprehensive permit law, developers can bypass local zoning laws if their developments include 20 to 25% affordable units. The town is confident that it has reached the state's affordable housing threshold of 1.5% by land area and therefore may deny the development. The case is now in the hands of the state's Housing Appeals Committee at the Department of Housing and Community Development. The Appeals Committee does not comment on pending appeals. APN will follow the case and bring you a report when a decision is made. Well, you know, it's going to be a busy year this year, Katie, with all the development going on in Arlington, all the construction, some of which is pretty exciting.
It's true, Paul. It'll be a busy spring with the expected opening of the medical marijuana dispensary and both the special town meeting in February and regular town meeting in April. And it'll be a busy election year. There are lots of state and local races to follow.
And it's goodbye to plastic bags at local retailers. That and more when we come back.
Hey guys,
Oh, hey Studio Night.
want to do something cool? Make TV with ACMi Studio Nights.
I don't think we have time to make TV.
That sounds hard. You have time to watch TV, but not to make TV?
Well,
Join ACMi Studio Nights to make TV with new friends, Wednesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. and get this tiny flashlight, unless you're scared.
I'm not scared. You know we can still see you, right?
No, you can't.
Pretty sure we still can.
Do you have what it takes to ride with the Studio Nights? Of course you do. Join us next Wednesday.
2018 will be a busy election season in Arlington and around the state. U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren is running for re-election. Senator Warren, a Democrat, is completing her first 6-year term. Currently, 5 candidates have declared their intention to compete in a Republican primary.
At the State House, Governor Charlie Baker faces a Republican primary challenge from Scott Lively. Lively ran as an independent in 2014. 3 Democrats have announced their candidacies for governor: Jay Gonzalez, Robert Massey, and Newton Mayor Seti Warren. All other statewide seats will be up in November: Lieutenant Governor, Attorney General, Secretary of State, Treasurer, and Auditor. All 160 state representative and 40 Senate seats are up in the fall as well.
Closer to home, the Arlington Board of Selectmen has 2 seats up for election. Selectman Joe Curro has announced he'll be running for re-election. 2 candidates have announced their candidacy for the open seat left by Stephen Byrne. Attorney John Hurd, whose father was a selectman and town meeting member, Michael Ruderman. Mr. Ruderman also serves as treasurer on the ACMi board. And on the school committee, Chair Jeff Thielman is running for re-election. Longtime committee member Cindy Starks has chosen not to run again. Jane Morgan, an Arlington parent and town meeting member, has announced her candidacy for the open seat. Arlington town elections will be held on Saturday, April 7th. The statewide primary comes up on Tuesday, September 4th, and the general election will be, as always, the first Tuesday in November. That's Tuesday, November 6th this year.
You know, Katie, it's nice to see that the local candidates are already stepping up this year for the election.
Yeah, it looks like there'll be some really interesting races this year, both locally and statewide. Now's your chance to express your vision to the Vision 2020 Committee. A new survey wants to know what you think about life in Arlington.
And can the Ponders top last year's big wins? That and more when we come back.
Hello, my name is Kylie Sullivan, and I'm a Health Compliance Officer with the Arlington Board of Health. At the Board of Health, we interpret and enforce state, federal, and local regulations pertaining to health, specifically regarding food establishments, housing issues, and nuisance complaints such as pests, odors, and noises. For more information, please visit the town website, or you can give us a call at 781-316-3170.
The 2017 town meeting members passed Article 17 with almost a 90% majority. The bylaw on the regulation of plastic bags, or plastic bag ban, is on its way to stores all around Arlington. APN reporter Harry Kramer brought us this background on the proposed ban before the town meeting vote.
A proposed warrant article up for adoption at town meeting
would ban the use of plastic bags at retailers across town. According to its supporters, the bill will reduce litter, protect the marine environment, and lower greenhouse gas emissions. Jim Ballin, a member of Arlington for Reduced Plastic Waste, presented the details of the bylaw proposal to the Arlington Board of Selectmen on Monday, March 13th.
I think it's pretty straightforward. We were initially looking at the Somerville model, which is to ban plastic bags provided at checkout in retail stores and restaurants in Arlington.
Douglas Heim, the town council for Arlington, explained that the ban would allow exemptions for bags used for laundry, newspapers, medicine, and other specific items within grocery stores.
And that's the most important sort of feature just to understand, is that the regulation is really only about checkout points. It's not about internal points within a grocery store, things like produce bags, meat, and things like that. It's really only supposed to be oriented around the end product and what you're taking to your car.
Some stores, like Stop & Shop, support plastic bag bans in the abstract. A formal statement given to ACMi stated that Stop & Shop supports recycling at every level, and we encourage our customers to recycle plastic bags and to use reusable bags offered to our customers at affordable prices. Stop & Shop supports plastic bag bans that are broadly applicable to all retailers, not just supermarkets. Other small business owners, like Joe Balich of Balich 5 and 10, are opposed to the ban.
The last couple of winters, I haven't been seeing many plastic bags that are flowing up into the trees and blowing around. And I see very few bags blowing in the wind outside. I don't think it's that big of a problem, to be honest with you. But if the ban does go into effect, I will switch over to paper bags.
In Massachusetts, 42 towns and cities have banned the bag. Near Arlington, for example, Brookline, Watertown, and Somerville have all banned plastic bags. In addition to banning plastic bags, Cambridge added a 10-cent fee on paper ones. Harrison Kramer, Arlington Public News.
Retailers with over 10,000 square feet of store space have until March 1st to comply with the new bylaw. They include Stop & Shop, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, CVS, and Walgreens. Paper shopping bags are already used exclusively at several stores. On a recent trip to Walgreens in Arlington Heights, APN found the checkout stocked with paper shopping bags way ahead of the March deadline. Smaller stores have until July 1st to make the change.
The Arlington High School Ponders had a very successful 2017. It's going to be hard to top clinching the boys' state hockey championship. Here's our Studio B sports crew with the outlook for Arlington athletics.
Hello everyone, I'm Max Cohen and this is our Arlington Sports Update. The boys and girls hockey season are well underway for your Spy Ponders. The boys are coming off a 3-2 victory against Winchester and play Belmont on Saturday the 20th.
Szczerek scores! Joe Szczerek with 5:40 left puts a bullet shot off the right post and beats Robert DiVincenzo to give the Ponders the first lead of the hockey game for them here in the third period.
They're halfway through a season in which they hope to repeat as Super 8 champions after a dramatic overtime win last year.
Arlington forechecking. Mike Curran centers it in front. A goal that went in. Curran just scored again. He centered it from behind the net. It hit Pasquale and went in the goal. So the Ponders have scored. They've won 2-1 here over Central Catholic of Lawrence. Mike Curran scored to end it here, and Arlington has won the Super 8 Massachusetts State Championship since 1972, a long time coming, so the Ponders can refer again to Hockey Town.
On the girls' side, they defeated Winchester 3-1, and they hope to extend the winning streak on Saturday against Belmont as well.
That's a good hard play right there. Ken Doherty showing, she's not afraid to take a
Here
lick
comes
on
a breakaway. It's the son daughter of the proud father. She scores! Erin O'Brien. She's got a goal and an assist. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing next to the proud father, and he is beaming.
As for Spy Ponders boys basketball, they defeated Winchester 56-49 and played Belmont on Friday the 19th. Don Phelan got together with Coach Bowler for a post-game interview.
So, Coach, let me talk to you a little bit about, because we haven't had you on yet this year, and this is only the second home game, I believe. And when you look at your scores, they're very low-scoring games, I noticed. You're probably holding teams to, I would imagine, average, well, maybe with the exception of one high-scoring game. You have to be under 50 points per game. Is that really the focus of the team this year, and hopefully the offense will maybe pick up a little bit as the season progresses?
Yeah, I think one of our trademarks is playing solid defense, good defense. And I think we're doing that. Offensively, we've struggled. I think we're starting to get out. We scored 60-something the other night, 65 the other night. This was a grind tonight.
Women's basketball defeated Winchester by an eye-popping 45 points. They also take on Belmont later this week. Coach Marlette also spoke with our own Rob Anthony after their win against Lexington.
How do you feel about the schedule ahead?
Middlesex League is a tough league. I think every game we go into, it's anybody's game. And so we've known that. I think this was a good win for us. We've lost a couple really close ones, so we kind of needed this one. And I think it just helps the girls. They're going to work hard in practice the next couple of days and take it, one opponent at a time.
That's it for this week's Sports Update. I'm Max Cohen from the Ed Burns Arena.
Arlington residents should find this new town census in their mailboxes. The number of government representatives for each town is based on census results. Demographic information gained also helps predict population trends and school enrollment numbers. And residents who don't return their census risk being dropped from the voter registration list, so be sure not to miss it. Along with the census, the town is asking each household to complete a Vision 2020 survey. This is your chance to weigh in on the allocation of Arlington's resources by sharing your opinions on town services. The Vision 2020 survey is online for the first time ever this year as part of an effort to go green. You can fill out the survey online by visiting arlingtonma.gov/vision2020, survey before March 1st. Thank you for joining Arlington Public News as we explore events and issues affecting Arlington. Check out our latest newscasts and segments on the web at acmi.tv/news.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Arlington Public.
I'm Paul Werlin.
And I'm Katie Chang. Thanks for joining us. As we move forward into 2018, we want to remember the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose 89th birthday was observed on Monday, January 15th. Reverend Dr. Deborah Jackson of the Yale Divinity School was the keynote speaker at the 30th annual event, honoring Martin Luther King at Arlington Town Hall. Reverend Jackson's moving speech came on the heels of reported racially charged remarks from President Trump. She remarked on the pervasive nature of racial and cultural issues that continue to trouble our country 50 years after the iconic civil rights leader's assassination in April of 1968. The observance also recognized the work of the school committee, presenting the board with an Outstanding Achievement Award for implementing cultural competency training to make educators in Arlington public schools more aware of diverse cultures and structural racism. We leave you now with a closer look at Monday night's event.
News outlets covered the events of a bipartisan meeting with a proposal for immigration reform that was inclusive of the Dreamers. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. And it wasn't the meeting, as you all know, that was being covered. No. It was the shamefully racist comments from the president who questioned why we would want immigrants from all these expletive whole countries. And in a confluence of ambivalent emotions that ranged from despondency to anger, it was King himself that said, "A time comes when silence is betrayal." He said that he had to break the betrayal of his own silences to speak from the burnings of his own heart. We have to stop and ask the question, if we don't stop and help the dreamers who came into this country by no fault of their own, what will happen to us? And if we don't stop and speak out against racist comments directed at people of different colors or intolerant comments directed at people of different faiths, what will happen to us?